On a rainy Sunday in Niagara Falls, the Americans prevailed in a messy victory to remain undefeated. The win locked in outfielder Grant Moore as PGCBL Player of the Week. But in this Tuesday matinee with lots of kids in the stands, the Tarp Skunks look for revenge in this second half of a home-and-home on their own spraying grounds. It's the Americans, it's the Tarp Skunks, it's PGCBL baseball right here on the Americans Baseball Network.
That the ace of the Giant pitching staff that season was Niagara Falls native Sal Magley. A league-low 2.71 earned run.
They chose Niagara Falls because of the stadium, because of the history, because they believe in Niagara Falls.
Tickets 716-215-6161.
And where do you play?
We play right at Sal Magley, gorgeous stadium.
Set the 1-0 to Boyle. Is hammered to right field.
Go, baby, go, baby. Go,
Come
baby,
here,
go,
fence.
Baby.
That ball is way out of here.
We welcome you into Russell E. Dietrich Park in Jamestown for this Tuesday matinee of the Americans and the Tarp Skunks. I'm Andrew Roberts. I'll be your play-by-play broadcaster here on the Americans Baseball Network for the entire season. And without further ado, let's take a look at the PGCBL standings headed into this game. The Niagara Falls Americans in first place, sole possession of it, an undefeated 4-0 record. Newark Pilots at 3-0-1. They tied back on Friday with the Auburn Double Days. We had that tie into the standings. Double Days at 2-1-1. Tarp Skunks down to 3-2 after the loss on Sunday to Niagara Falls, looking for revenge in this one. Muck Dogs down to 4-3. They split with the Ironbacks in a Sunday doubleheader, and the Pios and Red Wings still remain winless. And as the Tarp Skunks take the field, we will give you the Niagara Falls Americans lineup. They will be headed to face these Tarp Skunks in just a moment here. Grant Moore will be leading off in center field. As we mentioned earlier, PGCBL Player of the Week. Ian Huang back in the lineup, batting second and playing second. Nick Pass, the extra hitter today, will bat third. Chris Gazaldo back in the lineup playing short. He's had multiple hits in every single game he's played. Shane Prey bats fifth, plays third. And then some new faces in the bottom half of the lineup. Ethan Madison making his debut playing first. Tommy Mathey pitched the other day but will make his hitting debut in left field. Lucas Feldman doing the catching, batting eighth. Liam Schott in right field batting ninth. And then the DH Toshinari Kurakawa coming from Japan. And over at Santa Barbara City College, a 600 batting average. Not many at bats, but definitely some high potential. He'll bat last and DH. And we will pause in just a moment here for the national anthem. Welcome back in here on the Americans Baseball Network. We will be underway in just a moment for Americans and Tarp Skunks. And before we get started, we'll introduce you to our Tarp Skunks starting pitcher. Hunter Bell is making his debut for the Tarp Skunks today. The righty is at Alcorn State for college, went 0-2 with a 22.34 ERA there and 5 strikeouts. So this will be his debut as a starting pitcher here for the Tarp Skunks. Thus far, 2 games started by Cohen Harris, 2 games by Easton Barnett, and 1 by Colin Bola, who probably would have been in line to start this game had he not come in out of the bullpen in the game on Sunday. The Tarp Skunks, that bullpen might be a little bit gassed. They used 8 pitchers to face the Americans in Sunday's game. So they really went through their bullpen quickly in that one. And up for the Americans in this inning will be Grant Moore, Ian Huang, and Nick Past. So those 3 will kick us off here for the Niagara Falls Americans. It's PGCBL West Division Position Player of the Week, Grant Moore, who will be up to bat first in just a moment to face the lefty Bell. And here's Grant Moore. He's had an amazing start to the season, just like Chris Gasaldo. Multiple hits in each game he's played, a .533 hitter, 11 way. And that'll go low for the ball. And that'll go low for the ball. His favor. Moore leads the team with 8 steals. A lot of them have come on leadoff singles. He'll steal second base right after, sometimes go to third. Driven into right center field, and that'll drop for another one for Moore. He'll get 2 off of that one, and as he runs over to first base, collect his gloves. But Grant Moore safe at second with nobody out as Ian Huang comes up to bat. He'll bat righty today to face the southpaw Bell. Moore has a lead at second base. Huang went 4 for 5 in the season opener. He's played just 1 game since. This would be his second. Takes ball 1 low. Jacob Haynes making his catching debut for the Tarp Skunks today. He's DH'd, played first, but has not caught for the team yet. Certainly has in his career, but Bell tries for the pickoff, but it was pretty close. Count is even on Ian Huang, who spent his first year of college at Niagara University. Hoping to parlay his over 500 batting average into good results out in the transfer portal. Headed into the fall. Bell checking the runner twice before delivering on Ian Huang. So a hit batsman very early here. On, nobody out. For the number 3 hitter, the extra had the 2-run triple in the first game. Had the 2-run triple in the first game of the season. Really got things going in the 7-run rally against the Muck Dogs after a 1-0 deficit early in that one. Huang and Moore each have a lead on their respective base first and second as Nick Past swings and misses for strike 1 from Hunter Bell. Past comes all the way from, has performed even better here with the Americans than he did at EFSU. Second, then delivers. Driven down the first base line, that'll drop foul. Nolan Smith, Dom Costello, but realized that would drop out of reach of either of them. As Haynes throws the ball back to Bell. Ready to deliver on the 0-2 to Nick Past. First and second for the Americans early here. It's Kids Day here. Americans early here. It's Kids Day here in Jamestown, and those kids are loud. Runners go on ball one, and Huang will be picked off at second, but Moore gets one down. Huang will be picked off at second, but Moore gets one down. Runner on third on Nick passed. Moore, slightly faster runner than Ian Huang. Moore, slightly faster runner than Ian Huang. Picks up his ninth stolen base of the season, but unfortunately his teammate Huang caught stealing at second. Moore now has a lead from third as it's 2-2. Advantage for Moore of going up. You see Grant Moore attempt to steal home at some point in this game, but count is even at 2. The pitch driven into deep left field. Coming under it is Justin Bremner. He'll make the catch for out number 2. Moore tagging up. He will easily score. It's a sac fly for Nick Past. So 2 down and 1-0 Niagara Falls. As the cleanup hitter Chris Gazaldo comes up ironically with the bases empty. 462 hitter on the season. Hits in every single game he's played, but unlike Moore, got the day off on Sunday. So this is the first time he's seeing Jamestown. He takes ball 1 outside against Hunter Bell. 2 down, nobody on now as Grant Moore cashes in for the first run. Swing and miss, rather fouled off down the third base line. So it's a 1-1 count on Gazaldo. Bell sets and delivers with the count even outside to make it 2-1. Haynes having a scooch over for that one. Bit of a shift on Gazaldo. Marshall moving closer to third base. And McGuire playing close to second. Ground ball. Marshall picks it up, sends it to first. That's out number 3. But the Americans take a 1-0 lead as we head to break before the bottom of the first. We'll give you the Tarp Skunks lineup in just a moment.
No, I'm kind of thirsty.
Me too. We could really use something.
Yeah. Oh, thanks.
Yankee Doodle Dan.
That's better.
Look at the Jamestown Tarp Skunks lineup. Leading off will be Brady McGuire. He's at second base today. Nolan Smith batting second first. Justin Bremner batting third in left field. Jacob Haynes, guys batting over 400. Nathan Borchert, the DH, batting fifth. Brady Marshall batting sixth and playing short. Dom Costello in right field, back in the lineup, batting seventh. Eric Weeks will bat eighth, play third. Eddie Delansky, the extra hitter, bats ninth. And Matthew Dumas in center field, rounding out this lineup as Robert Leach gets ready to start for the Americans. He came in relief on Friday, 2 innings, got the win, and 2 strikeouts when he gave up no runs. Brady McGuire steps in to the batter's box to face Robert. Left center field, and Mathey will make the catch for out number 1. As batting second is Nolan Smith. Ball 1 taken low. Ball into center field. Mathey gonna move over to catch it. And it's 2 outs quickly on the Tarp Skunks in the bottom of the first. Pitching to contact. And it's going right into the glove of Tommy Mathey time and time again here. As Justin Bremner, the number 3 hitter, comes up to face Leach. One of the toughest customers he'll see today, a .400 batting average. And Bremner comes from Canisius University, where he had a .747 OPS. If you're putting up decent numbers in Division I here in the PGCBL, you're going to look like a superstar. That one goes outside for the ball. So 1 ball on Bremner early here. And it's a timeout. Bremner is here with his Canisius teammate Eric Weeks, who's further down in the lineup. Ball 2 in the dirt from Leach. 2 down, nobody on. Bremner hoping to keep the Tarp Skunks in this inning. Ball 3 over the lefty batter's box. So Bremner 1 pitch away from a walk. Leach hoping to refine command of the zone. Upstairs for ball 4. And Bremner's the first base runner for James. And here's Jacob Haynes doing the catching today. Played first on Sunday against the Americans. .500 hitter and limited opportunities thus far, but put up great numbers over at Seton Hill as well, so should be a valuable contributor for this team. He swings and misses on strike. Leach, a product of St. John Fisher, joins the Americans alongside several student interns. He'll be bobbled by the shortstop. Bobbles that one. We'll see if it gets ruled hitter error here. But nonetheless, it's first and second for the Tarp Skunks. They'll call it a single for Jacob Haynes. So for the number 5 hitter, Nathan Borchert, moved down from the number 2 spot in the lineup where he spent a good part of the season. Strike 1 taken on the low edge of the zone from Robert Leach. Borchert, a 250 hitter. .586 OPS, though. That catches the inside part of the zone to put Borchert down 0-2. Can Borchert plate the tying run here? No, he swings and misses. That's strike 3. We'll head to the top of the second in just a moment here after these messages.
My fellow American fans, my name is Frankie Morris, your social media manager. You can join us all summer long with many promotional nights and tickets just as low as $10. You can call and get tickets at 716-215-6161 and take a crack at the action.
Back for the top of the second, and this second inning is brought to you by Bully Hill Vineyards, a great place to grab lunch and taste over 40 different wines. Go to bullyhillvineyards.com for more. Hunter Bell will keep pitching as this second inning will be underway here in just a moment. 2 up for the Americans, Shane Prey, Ethan Madison, and Tommy Mathey. Now, these Tarp Skunks often use a committee approach. Starting pitchers often only go 2 or 3 innings, so it'll be interesting to see how much longer Hunter Bell is in this game, but he'll first face Shane Prey in the left-on-right matchup. Outside for the ball. Shane Prey, a 400 hitter. Every game he's started has been at third base. Pinch hit in the opener in Batavia, though. And that is high. Pop up. Going to drop into the glove of Brady Marshall for out number 1. So 1 down as Ethan Madison steps into the batter's box to make his Americans debut as a hitter. Playing first base today, also can be found taking reps behind the plate in practice. Pitch from Bell, swung and missed on for strike 1. Madison here alongside Jack Satinoff from Trevecca Nazarene University in Tennessee. Madison's originally from Kentucky, though. The 0-1 from Bell. Takes it low for the ball to even up the count. One's across the board. Ball strikes outs. Ethan Madison has yet to see a collegiate appearance, so this will be the closest thing to it for him thus far. Foul tip behind him to make it 1-2. So this is not only his first time seeing the Tarp Skunks, but the first time seeing PGCBL action today in this Tuesday matinee. As he takes the 1-2 from Bell, finds the outside edge of the strike zone, and Ethan Madison goes down looking for out number 2. Tommy Mathay, the left fielder, up next. He was busy in the bottom of the first inning, caught the first 2 outs, moved over towards center field for the second of those. Takes the first pitch from Bell. Finds the low edge of the strike zone to make it 0-1. Mathay actually came in as a pitcher over in St. Catharines on Saturday at the Ironbacks. Well, this is his first batting appearance for the Americans. Chopper picked up by McGuire, and that'll be out number 3. A 1-2-3 inning here in Jamestown as we head to the bottom of the second. We'll be right back after these messages. Ever dreamed of playing catch right here at Sal Magley Stadium? Well, join us June 22nd for a post-game catch on the field. We welcome you back to Dietrich Park for the bottom of the second. Americans at Tarp Skunks. And fans, this season, get yourself the latest Americans gear, hats, t-shirts, sweatshirts, baseballs, and much, much more. Stop by the merchandise stand, buy concessions at any Americans home game. The Americans will be back home tomorrow against the Geneva Red Wings. 6:30 first pitch for that one. But right now, Robert Leach will keep pitching to these Tarp Skunks in the second of a home and home. Due up for Jamestown, Brady Marshall, Dom Costello, and Eric Weeks. Brady Marshall, the shortstop, stepping in first here. He's a 300 hitter, 888 OPS, comes from Division I, Kent State. Takes the first pitch high, near his helmet for ball one. That one taken for strike one to even up the count. Pitch from Leach. Low for the ball. So the count back in Brady Marshall's favor. Foul ball down the right field line into the bleachers. So Leach and Marshall have been battling back and forth here in this bottom of the second. Outside, ball three fills up the count. It's the first full count for Robert Leach all day. Payoff pitch on the way to Marshall. Driven into left field for the base hit. And Mathey will be the cutoff man. But it's the second hit of the day for Jamestown. They've got a runner on here in the second inning. Up comes Dom Costello, the lefty. Had the day off on Sunday before pinch hitting. Takes ball one inside. Leach checks the runner at first and Brady Marshall. Marshall starting to go and a line drive into left field for another base hit. First and second for the Skunks. It's Costello and Marshall. And up comes Eric Weeks, third batter of the inning with 2 ducks on the pond. Leach checks the runner at second, then delivers high over the helmet of Eric Weeks for ball one. Leach delivers, ground ball, or line drive rather into, yeah, that will be a ground ball, excuse me. Out at third, but on the fielder's choice, Weeks will be safe at first base. So 1 down and still runners on first and second. A very productive out for the Americans as Eddie Delansky steps in. Delansky, the extra hitter today, also has made some appearances as a pitcher for the Skunks. But today in the order as he pitched the final innings in Niagara Falls on Sunday. He'll have the day off from the mound. Ball one outside to Delansky with 1 down and 2 ducks on the pond. Delansky, a 400 hitter, 1327 OPS. Strike one on the low edge of the zone. Ones across the board, balls, strikes, outs. And my apologies for the technical difficulties as the broadcast continues to lag here in Jamestown, but ball 2 in the dirt to Delansky. 2 balls, 1 strike, 1 out, and 2 runners on. As the two-way player, Delansky has the hitter's count here. Leach checks the runner at second. Line drive into the outfield, drops foul to even up the count once more. Delansky hurrying back to the batter's box. In this right-on-right matchup with Weeks on first, Costello on second. All 3 batters reached, but the out at third on Marshall on the fielder's choice. made by Shane Prey. Leach checks Costello, then delivers outside for ball 3 to fill up the count. So full count, 1 out, and 2 on. Delansky, product of Niagara University, facing a lot of his college teammates, and takes strike 3 at the bottom of the zone. Leach catches him looking for out number 2. A needed strikeout to keep the Americans up 1-0 with 2 down, as Matthew Dumas, the final bat in the Tarp Skunks order, comes up. The lefty batting 111 thus far. Taken for ball 1. Dumas led his community college in stolen bases with 27. Takes strike 1 rather. Down the middle. Low edge of the zone. Leach checks Costello, delivers inside for ball 2. Dumas did not play in the game at Sal Maglie on Sunday. Has played all center field when he's been in the order. Another inside pitch to make it 3-1 to Dumas. The speedster out of Lake Sumter State, the number 10 hitter and final hitter in this Jamestown order. Leach checks Costello twice, swing and a miss to fill up the count. Americans scored the first run of this one in the top of the first inning, and no scoring since. Tarp Skunks hoping to tie it up with Dumas up. Runners go on the full count. It's ball 4 to load up the bases. Matthew Dumas will walk Robert Leach, giving up his second walk of the day. Driven up the middle for the base hit by the leadoff hitter, McGuire. And a run will score, but other runners hold. And we're going to tie up the game with 2 down. So McGuire picks up the RBI on the single. And it's Nolan Smith, the first baseman, with the bases still loaded and 2 down to face Robert Leach. Inside pitch for ball 1. Smith came into this game batting .294. Is 0 for 1 on the day. Ground ball foul down the third base line. Runners will all have to go back. 4 hits for the Tarp Skunks to the Americans' side. Jamestown has stranded some runners on base. The Americans left the bases empty after their run scored in the top. Ball 2 to Nolan Smith, product of SUNY Cortland. Drives another one up the middle for a base hit. 1 run scores, another run coming around. It's 3-1 Jamestown. Take the lead for the first time since they were up 3-0 in the first inning on Sunday. It's runners on first and second still. Now they'll say out number 3 was made. We'll head to a break. Jamestown strands 2 but scores 3 in this bottom of the second. We'll be right back.
No, I'm kind of thirsty.
Me too. We could really use something.
Yeah. Oh, thanks.
Yankee Doodle Dan.
That's better.
Welcome back for the third inning, and this third inning is sponsored by Greater Niagara Federal Credit Union, Geico of Buffalo, Sammy's Pizza, and McDonald's. Get the all-new snack wrap coming July 10th. A big return for McDonald's. I'm excited for that one, but the Tarp Skunks score 3 in the bottom of the second. And now the Americans will have the bottom 3 of their order due up in Feldman, Schott, and Kurokawa. Nolan Smith, the final in that bottom of the second. And he's safe. But after McGuire tried for third, he was tagged out for out number 3. And here's Lucas Feldman in his Americans debut. He takes strike 1. Hunter Bell throws the second pitch to Feldman at his feet for ball 1. So the 1-1 count. Another one low to make it 2-1 to Lucas Feldman. Feldman from Genesee Community College, actually right near Batavia, but he chose to come here and play for the Americans. 324 hitter, 976 OPS over there. Had a single dinger as he takes strike 2 on the inside edge of the zone to even up the count. Feldman, the catcher for the Americans today. The third different backstop for them this season. Swing and a miss for strike 3. But it gets away briefly from Haynes. So 1 down as Feldman goes down swinging. Liam Schott steps into the box for the Americans. Schott, the right fielder today, filling in for Evan Core. All the SUNY Niagara players absent from today's game had a prior commitment. So no Dalton Harper, no Evan Core, and the Americans short a good portion of their pay. That drops in the dirt. It's 1 ball and 1 strike to Liam Schott in his Americans debut. 1s across the board, balls, strikes, and outs. Bell sets, delivers, swing and a miss. Schott committed to go to Corning Community College. Rising freshman there. Just like St. Catharines, Jamestown, mimicking the Yankees strikeout horn. Pretty common thing here in upstate New York, but here we are. It's the debut of Toshinari Kurokawa. Japan playing college baseball over at Santa Barbara City College. 1 down the pike. Getting lots of love in the clubhouse thus far from his Americans teammates. Just a stand-up guy as he dodges ball 1 inside. Double and a walk in 4 games at his community college. Another one inside, but called for strike 2. That catches the inside edge of the zone. Bell gets set for the 1-2 to Kurokawa. Way inside and in the dirt to even up the count on Toshi. Hails from the town of Kamakura over in Japan. The pitch at Toshi's helmet to fill up the count with 2 down. Kurakov going down 1-2-3 for the second consecutive inning. If they continue to trail, it'll be their first loss of the season. But Kurakawa, as the Americans head to the dugout on a close call, bottom of the third. When we're back, it's 3-1 Skunks.
Ever dreamed of playing catch right here? Well, join us June 22nd for a post-game catch on the field.
From Dietrich Park. And fans, did you know American season tickets are just $99? Come be a part of the fun this summer at Sal Magley Stadium. Stop by the concession stands at any home game and pick up your season tickets today to be a part of this historic season in Niagara Falls. And as I mentioned earlier, the Americans will be back home tomorrow to take on the Geneva Red Wings. First pitch at 6:30. And Robert Leach had a tough second inning, but will tough it out and keep pitching. This time to the meat of the Tarp Skunks order, Bremner, Jacob Haynes, and Borchert. He'll face them for the second time today. Bremner walked on his first at-bat. Jacob Haynes had a hit. Nathan Borchert is 0 for 1. So here's Bremner. Batting average now just below 400. Or rather stays at 400. As he took a walk on his first at-bat and now takes ball one outside from Leach. Leach has struggled to find his command of the zone today. And a pop fly in foul territory drops into the stands for strike one on Bremner. Bremner, the only player in the entire West Division to hit an outside the park home run. There's actually been just as many inside the parkers. Nico Frizzell hitting one against the Americans on Sunday. Swing and a miss for strike two on Bremner. Frustration visible here as he takes time out. Made his first appearances for Canisius this past season in his sophomore year as ball two goes in the dirt to even up the count. Briefly gets away from Feldman, but the bases are empty, so no damage done aside from the ball. Feldman in blue catching gear. Pop up. Heads towards the first baseman. Coming in to make the catch is Ethan Madison for out number one. So Bremner retired for the first out of the inning here in the bottom of the third. And here's Jacob Haynes. 1 for 1 on the day. So now above 500 for his batting average. Came in with a 500 average today. May even be lucky enough to get a Coke from Yankee Doodle Dan, just like the ad. As Hunter Bell will keep pitching. And due up for the Americans is the top of the order. Grant Moore, Ian Huang, and Nick Past. Grant Moore led off the game with another hit, this time an extra base hit. Paul Wolf running out to the field to serve as third base coach, as he has been today. And Grant Moore steps into the batter's box as Hunter Bell will meet with his catcher, Jacob Haynes, before pitching inning number 4, a feat no Tarp Skunk starter has accomplished yet this season. My apologies. That is not Hunter Bell. It is a reliever indeed, so Bell will be done after 3 innings. And Daniel Thomas taking over here to face Grant Moore. Grant Moore shows bunt, but taken for the ball. And Daniel Thomas throws the 1-0. That's fouled off. So count is even here. Thomas, the 1-1. Chopper heads right to Nolan Smith, who will throw it to Daniel Thomas, who covers first base for out number 1. So Grant Moore retired on the ground out, 3-1. Ian Huang coming up for the second time today now. Hit his first time up. That made it first and second after the Grant Moore double. 1 on, nobody out as Thomas delivers. Chopper again, this time to McGuire at second. A quick out, number 2 to Nolan Smith. And 2 down, nobody on quickly here for the Americans as Nick Pass steps in. The next customer for Daniel Thomas. Tarp Skunks looking to split the home and home with the Americans. Currently have the 3-1 lead. Nick Pass, a tough customer though. Takes ball 1 outside. And Thomas sets, delivers. And that's another chopper to Nolan Smith. For a quick out, number 3, he'll handle it himself that time. Americans go down 1-2-3 in this top of the 4th. Dom Costello, Eric Weeks, and the number 9 hitter, extra hitter Eddie Delansky, due up for the Tarp Skunks when we are back after these messages.
My fellow American fans, my name is Frankie Morris, your social media manager. You can join us all summer long with many promotional nights and tickets just as low as $10. You can call and get tickets at 716-215-6161 and take a crack at the action.
Back for the bottom of the 4th with a call to the bullpen. Jake Rocher will relieve Robert Leach after 3 innings. So the Americans mirroring the Tarp Skunks strategy today with a bit of a committee day here. Jake Rocher also capable of going multiple innings. Did not appear for Mount St. Mary's in his first year there, but in high school, 4-0 with a 1.75 ERA and 32 strikeouts. Last appearance was in the season opener against Batavia when he came out of the pen for an inning. And up to face him this inning will be Costello, Eric Weeks, and Eddie Delansky. Here's Costello. The 267 hitter coming into this game takes a ball low from Rocher. Costello 1 for 1 on the day. Singled as part of that second inning rally. Strike 1 finds the low edge of the zone to even up the count. Rocher at a 9 ERA right now, hoping to lower that after giving up 1 run in his inning pitched against Batavia. Ball 2 goes at the feet of Costello. Rocher delivering down the middle, fly ball. And making the catch is Tommy Mathay, coming in from left to left center for out number 1. So Costello retired early for the Skunks. Rocher now on the mound for the Americans to face Eric Weeks. The righty came into this game batting 118. He's 0 for 1 on the day. Takes the ball low and away from Jake Rocher. The pitch at the feet of Weeks for another ball. And Feldman throws that all the way back to Ian Huang at second, who gives it back to Rocher. Jake Rocher here with 3 Mount St. Mary's teammates. 2 are transferring out and 1 who's coming in, though. So a lot of movement over at the Mount, but strike 1 called on the check swing by Eric Weeks. They'll say he went. Pop up, headed to the roof right above us here in the press box in Jamestown to even up the count at 2-2. About the highest pop-up I've seen all day here at Dietrich Park. Foul ball flown down into the bleachers down the first base line. As Weeks stays alive in the at-bat here. One of 2 Canisius batters here for the Skunks. That other one being the number 3 hitter, Justin Bremner. And Bremner has had far more success thus far here in Jamestown, but it's early. Only game number 6 here for the Skunks. As the count fills up on Eric Weeks. Payoff pitch from Rocher. Ground ball foul down the third base line. Weeks coming around back to the righty batter's box. Another payoff pitch on the way in just a moment here from Jake Rocher. He sets, delivers, and another foul ball. This is now an at-bat 8 pitches long in this tough battle between Rocher and Weeks. Eric Weeks may not have the results thus far this season, but the D1 hitter, always a good at-bat. It's a D1 on D1 matchup here between Rocher and Weeks. Rocher shaking his head to his catcher, Lucas Feldman, delivers on the full count. Line drive up the middle, Moore backing up to make the catch for out number 2. So after a 9-pitch saga between Rocher and Eric Weeks, Weeks goes down on the line out to center field. A lot of those fly balls and line drives. Tommy Mathay has been coming in from left field, but this time Moore making the catch for out number 2. Spent the first 4 games for the Americans in left field, shifting over to center to fill in for Jake Hollins today as Tommy Mathay makes his debut in left. And it's Eddie Delansky, the third batter of this inning for Jamestown, takes strike 1 down the pike. Delansky came into this game batting .400, 0 for 1 on the day to drop below that marker. And that one almost grazes him inside for the ball. Delansky, a good friend of Americans reliever Carter Hall. They'll be seeing plenty of each other this season as strike 2 catches the inside edge of the zone on Delansky. It'll be fun to see a Delansky on Hall matchup today. But Hall did come out of the pen on Sunday. not that many pitches, so could see him today. Delansky gets a piece of that one to stay alive in the at-bat. Tarp Skunks have not gotten a runner on this inning. First time that can really be said in this game. Swing and a miss. Down goes Delansky. We'll head to the top of the 5th after the break.
Ever dreamed of playing catch right here at Sal Magley Stadium? Well, join us June 22nd for a post-game catch on the field.
Back for the 5th inning, sponsored by Tropical Heating and Cooling. Call 716-870-0753 for expert service. So through 4, the Tarp Skunks lead by 2 runs, and Daniel Thomas, who came in for Hunter Bell in the 4th inning, will keep pitching to the Americans here. Chris Gazaldo, Shane Prey, and Ethan Madison will be due up for Niagara Falls here. As the Tarp Skunks went down 1-2-3 with Jake Rocher coming in relief for Robert Leach. Gazaldo takes ball 1 upstairs from Daniel Thomas. Thomas, a multi-inning reliever for these Skunks. Drove a lot of these guys in the bullpen. Ground ball gets past Nolan Smith between the legs for the base hit. And Gazaldo is on to start off the inning for Niagara Falls. They'll end up ruling that an error on the first baseman, Smith. But nonetheless, Gazaldo is on to start the inning. Prey takes ball 1 outside. Gazaldo has the lead at first. Foul ball behind Prey to even up the count. And Shane Prey, first time up, was retired. So he's over 1 on the day. 1-1 count to the Fredonia State product. Prey, he'll foul it off to put the count in Daniel Thomas's favor here in the top of the 5th. Prey gets set for the 1-2 pitch. Gazaldo goes, but it's strike 3. Gazaldo will advance to second as the pitch briefly gets away from Jacob Haynes. Gazaldo advancing to second base on the strikeout. As Ethan Madison comes up, they'll rule that a steal for Chris Gazaldo. And that one high, but they'll rule it strike 1 on Madison. One down, and Gazaldo now on second base for the 0 for 1 Madison up to bat. Another cut and miss to put Madison down 0-2 against Thomas. Paul Wolf squatting over at third. He serves as the third base coach in addition to being one of the managers here for the Americans alongside Will Cordero. As ball one is taken upstairs by Madison. He'll step back into the box in this righty-on-righty matchup. Madison's first at-bat was against the southpaw Bell. Swing and a miss for strike three. Down goes Madison. It's 2 down, and just Gazaldo on base. Madison, the second strikeout victim of the inning, and second consecutive for Daniel Thomas. And now Tommy Mathay, the 7-hitter, up for the Americans. Takes the ball low. Comes from Panola College here with 3 of his current and 1 of his future Panola teammates. Most of them are infielders, including Chris Gazaldo, who's on second. Americans will see if they can get both of them running here. Mathay would have to get on base, and he's got 2 balls on him to start off his at-bat here in the top of the 5th. But it's 2 down. Mathay likely to stay patient here. No, he'll swing on the grounder. Marshall throws it to first, and this time Smith completing the successful out number 3. Americans strand Gazaldo on second. They still trail 3-1 in the bottom of the 5th. We'll be right back.
My fellow American fans, my name is Frankie Morris, your social media manager. You can join us all summer long with many promotional nights and tickets just as low as $10. You can call and get tickets at 716-215-6161 and take a crack at the action.
Back early for the bottom of the 5th inning. And fans, this season you can connect with the Americans like never before with exclusive content on our social media platforms. Make sure you follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. An additional reminder that Sal Magley is a great place to have a birthday right here with the Americans. Packages include 10 tickets, 2 large Sammy's pizzas, 10 drinks, customized Wegmans cake, autographed Americans baseballs, and special recognition at the game starting at just $175. Sign up online at NiagaraFallsAmericans.com, sponsored by Wegmans and Sammy's Pizza. So Jake Rocher will keep pitching for the Americans. He'll face the number 10 hitter in Matthew Dumas, and then it'll wrap around to the top of the order with Brady McGuire and Nolan Smith. Skunks looking to expand on their 3-1 lead in the bottom of the 5th, but Rocher sent the Skunks packing 1-2-3 in his first inning pitching. That'll be ball 1 on the center fielder, Dumas. Upstairs for a second ball. Umpire confirms the 2-0 count. Rocher delivers inside, and it's a 3-0 count early for Matthew Dumas. Below the Mendoza line, would have to imagine he does not get the green light here. Pitch from Rocher. Called for strike 1. And Dumas at first thought that might be a walk, but He'll take back his bat and step back into the box in this right on left matchup. It's the right-hander Rocher. And now suddenly the count is full as strike 2 goes up the middle. Dumas 0 for 1 on the day. Rather, he walked, and that's his second walk. My apologies. So Dumas on safely for the second time today. As Brady McGuire steps in. The second baseman came into this game with a .222 batting average. Increased that with his 1 for 2 day. Takes strike 1 up the middle. McGuire played majority of the playoffs for Seton Hill. And Rocher will try first base unsuccessfully. McGuire mostly a third baseman in those Seton Hill playoffs, but has played second and left as well here for the Tarp Skunks. Runner goes, ground ball picked up by Prey. And he will try for the out at second. Now Dumas in a pickle. And he is tagged out for out number 1, but safe at first is the batter McGuire. So that'll go down as a single for Brady McGuire, but Prey will catch Matthew Dumas in a rundown. As the infield coming in to meet with Jake Rocher on the mound. Will Cordero coming in out of the Americans dugout. Possible we see a new pitcher here. No, Rocher will stay in there for the time being. Steps back onto the rubber. And takes some warm-ups with his catcher Feldman, with Cordero in the infield still behind him. Now dispersing. So Rocher has 1 out here in this bottom of the 5th. The runner on first is Brady McGuire, who singled, but Dumas caught in a pinch for out number 1. And now they'll try for the pickoff at first base. But McGuire slides back in safely as Nolan Smith steps into the box for the Tarp Skunks. Pitch from Rocher inside at the sleeve of Nolan Smith for ball 1. McGuire started to get a lead, but holds up. 24 stolen bags over at Seton Hill on 29 attempts. So he can be stopped, but it's not frequent as the count evens up on the low strike 1 to Nolan Smith. Smith, a .294 hitter. Rocher will try the runner at first. He slides in safely on the pickoff attempt. Brady McGuire has been taunting Rocher this entire at bat. McGuire takes off now, but strike 2. And he will have to go back. No, they'll rule that a ball. My apologies. Another try at first by Rocher. Correction, it was a scorebug error. It was a strike 2 all along. Fouled off by Nolan Smith. One-two from Rocher inside to even up the count. Rocher checks on McGuire. Now sets and delivers on the 2-2. Ground ball. Steaming pass play for the base hit. And it's 2 on for the Skunks. On the 7th hit of the day for Jamestown. Smith and McGuire, the runners on base with 1 down as Justin Bremner steps in. 0 for 1 on the day, walked his first time up. Came in with a .400 batting average, now just below that. But this is a big opportunity with 2 on and 1 down. Takes strike 1. Looking there. Bremner. Product of Canisius. Rocher thinks about the pickoff, but pitches to Bremner. Foul tip to make it 0-2. Feldman getting back behind home plate and back into his squat as Bremner steps back in with an 0-2 count after the foul ball. 1 down, 2 ducks on the pond. Rocher checks on McGuire at second, now delivers outside to even up the count. Or rather, put the first ball on there. Now the count is even. Second base. Second base. Line drive up the middle, Moore coming in. Moore serves as the cutoff man, and the bases are loaded. All 3. But Jake Rocher will keep on pitching for the time being. Steps in. With 1 down. And the bases juiced a good opportunity for a double play ball, but could be a dangerous situation here for the Americans. Strike 1 on Haynes, who is 2. Takes a plenty of power. He hit 12 homers in 54 games over at Seton Hill. Was an absolute power machine over there. For ball 2. Important time for him to get one. Rocher delivers. Catches the outside edge of the zone over. All 3 base runners now have a lead. It's McGuire, Smith, and Bremner in that order, and swing and a miss. Down goes Jacob Haynes, a very crucial strikeout for Nathan Borchert. But Borchert much less of a power threat amount for Jake Rocher as he retires. Jacob Haynes. But out just now, cut and miss to make it 1-2. Attempts to frame that as a strike. Smith and Bremner each have a lead at their respective base swing. And that'll wrap up the inning as Borchert goes down swinging. We'll head to the top of the 6th after the break.
Ever dreamed of playing catch right here? Well, join us June 22nd for a post-game catch on the field.
Back for the top of the 6th, and we have a call to the bullpen for the Tarp Skunks once again. This time, Christian Penchik coming in for Daniel Thomas. And a reminder that this 6th inning is sponsored by Niagara County Legislator Chris Robins. There's Local 91. Order Lucas Feldman, Liam Schott, and Toshinari Kurakawa, each looking for their first Americans hit. 0 for 1 on the day. They went down 1 in the top of the 3rd inning. Now back up in the 6th. Going to scratch his face on the way back from calling that out. And here's Dom Costello to increase his batting average, which was .267 headed into the game. Ball 1 inside. So the 1-0 count from Rocher. Now sends it to Madison at first for out. So comes up. And we'll see if he can extend this inning for them. Pitch from Rocher goes way outside. And Eric Weeks. It's been a cold start to the season for him. He's 0 for 2 today. Already came in. After it, will make the catch. It's the basket catch for out number 3.
Ever dreamed of playing catch right here at Sal Magley Stadium? Well, join us June 22nd for a post-game catch on the field.
That is Division I. And in this inning, he will face the middle of the Americans order, Chris Gazaldo, Shane Prey, and Ethan Madison. This is only the 3rd time through the order for the Americans in this 7th inning. And before we get underway here, by Elks Lodge of Niagara Falls, Bikers Against Child Abuse, the Stalka Agency, and Red Robin Gourmet Burger. So, continuing to warm up with Jacob Haynes. And in this 7th inning, we'll start things off. But reached on an error today, so has reached base on 1 of 2 opportunities. My apologies, it'll be Nick Past up first in this top of the 7th. Fouled off. 1. Have a hit thus far is Grant Moore, 2 in the count. Hoping to get these Americans out of the 3-2. Goes outside. Goes outside for the ball. And passed. Stepping back in or to even things up here at 2-2. Nick Pass had a great first game. A triple in it, as well as a single to go 2 for in the American season opener. Now has a full count to him in the lineup. Takes another one low, and after the 0-2 stuff first with the walk. So Castor switches things up here. Chris Gazaldo. Gazaldo, rare player in 2025, wearing Jackie Robinson's number. Says he does it to honor Jackie, though. So a 1-0 count as Pass has a lead at first. Foul ball flown into the bleachers. To Dietrich Park today, you see school buses pulling into the parking lot, ready to pick up these kids once the game ends. And the game has moved quickly today. An hour 43 in, we're in the top of the 7th. Gazaldo gets whacked. It's first and second after 2 early strikes. And 2 runners are on for the Americans in Nick Pass. And now next, yes, Nolan Smith gonna bat next for the Tarp Skunks. Justin Bremner is on deck. 10-3 on the day. Have capitalized on their hits, capitalized on a number of walks, errors, hit bats to make it 5-3. Tarp Skunks have given up a lot of free 90s today. Let's see. And it has cost them big time. Almost every baseball less 390s ends up the winner. And that is proving true thus far here. Runner goes on ball 1, and Brady McGuire will steal second base. McGuire certainly has wheels, stole and now with Nolan Smith up to bat. Jackson, as I mentioned, gave up, hoping to prevent that a second time here. But already the count in Smith's time here. But already the count in Smith's favor. Now in action here, Jackson versus Smith. 2 pretty ordinary names, but certainly a pair of extraordinary players. Nolan Jackson playing 2 ways, Nolan Smith. And it's really this top of the order done here for Jamestown. Count fills big moment this time for the Tarp Skunks. In the Liberty League. To have the free bag alert chant going after one of those, but yell as Bremner swings and misses on Smith, familiar with a lot of those Liberty League rivals. 30 minutes up the road from Ithaca College, who hosted the 2025 Liberty League tournament for baseball. Line shot for out number 3. So we'll head to the top of the 8th, and Liam Schott, who just made the catch, will be up to bat when we're back.
Ever dreamed of playing catch right here at Sal Magley Stadium? Well, join us June 22nd for a post-game catch on the field.
Back for this eighth inning, sponsored by Seneca Niagara, Resort and Casino, the official casino of the Americans. More winning, more comfort, more casino of the Americans. More winning, more comfort, more entertainment. Go to SenecaNiagaraCasino.com for more. And we've got another call today, or rather second consecutive game, is Nick Iannello. 1-0 with a 1.6 is Nick Iannello. 1-0 with a 1.69 ERA, 4 strikeouts. Pitched 1 1/3 against the Americans. These two teams had the day off yesterday. And it'll be the bottom 2 batters for the Americans. Would do up first, but then it's back around to the top of the order with Grant Moore, who's 2 for 3 on the day. Schott and Kurakawa both looking for their first hits of their Americans career, but Kurakawa has gotten on base with a walk. Schott, meanwhile, has struck out both times up to bat. Product of Corning Community College just caught out number 3 on the line drive from Justin Bremner. Gianello will appear for the second consecutive game for the Skunks. Time with a 2-run deficit in the top of the 8th. First pitch taken inside for the... Has yet to see collegiate action. Headed in. Just look at it. Another one taken inside. 2 balls and 1 strike to Schott. His freshman year at Corning Community College in the fall. Looking to make contact. He may not even need to. He's got possible. He just takes ball 4 here in this top of the 8th inning. That gets in there. And the Americans trailed for most of this ball game, but Ethan Madison going yard in the top of the 7th to make it 5-3. Now another one fouled off by Schott, the first batter of the inning. Can he get on base either with a hit or walk here? And here comes Toast time around. Maybe you can do that again against the new pitcher, Ianello. Toshi 0 for 1 on the day, scored the run. When Ian Huang reached on the error. Ball 1. From Ianello. Ground ball hit softly. Completed for out number 1. Retired early, but that'll advance the runner in Liam Schott to second. Second base. And the Tarp Skunks will walk Grant Moore. A lot of noise about that one, but I'd argue from an unbiased perspective that is a smart move. You don't want to mess with that with a runner on second. So it'll bring up Ian Huang. He's 0 for 2. RBI early. Strike 1. With his bat. Checks on. Start off the season since then, but this would be a great time for his. We'll see if he can keep his batting average up here. It has dipped below 511 on the season. The pitch fouled off down the third base line, will drop into the bleachers. So Huang keeps this bat alive. It's a bat alive for the time. And Ianello checks the runner at second. Then delivers. Ball 2 rather over the lefty batter's box, or righty batter's box. Huang fouled off. So this has now been a 6 pitch at bat. Balls taken, 2 strikes and 2 additional foul balls. Checks on Schott, swing and a miss. They'll say he went down. Goes Ian Huang. First strike 3. So it remains runners on first and second. So it remains runners on first and second as Wang's batting average continues to fall below 500. Coming up to bat next. 0 for 2 on, also looking for his first hit of the day, but foul tip behind him. Rather, swaying with the sac fly past. Driving in a run another way. Reaching on the error. It's 1-1. He's whacked. Another 390 given up by the Tarp Skunks, and this one is costly. It loads the bases with 2 down. Chris Gazaldo, the cleanup hitter, will have the chance with the bases loaded for the first time today. Recorded 2 hits in each of his first 3 games, so he's riding a 3-game hitting streak, hoping to expand that to 4 to get that hit. Expand the Americans' lead beyond 2, give them some insurance. All great things as all three runners have a lead, but will hold up as Gazaldo takes ball 1. Another ball inside. So it's 2-0 to the cleanup hitter Gazaldo. And if this continues, Nick Iannello is going to walk in a run. Not what you want to see. The Tarp Skunks just continuing to give up free bags to the Americans. Runners starting the lead, and it is a bases loaded walk to drive in another run for the Americans. Makes it 6-3. Not what you want to see if you're Nick Iannello. The third baseman, 0 for 2 today, came in with a batting average of 400. And meeting on the mound are Jacob Haynes and the new pitcher Iannello. Iannello now a meeting with manager Frank Jagoda. This could be it for him. Yes, it will be. Another pitcher coming out of the pen for the Tarp Skunks. This is number 6 of the day. Pretty typical for Jamestown. As soon as things start to go wrong, they pull their pitcher because they quite frankly just have the luxury to do that. But they bullpen or a pitching staff at large that ranges almost 20 guys deep. And this one is Anthony Serrano. 5 strikeouts so far on the season in 2 appearances. The most recent coming on June 1st against Batavia, where he went an inning. Today, though, over at Columbia State, 29 strikeouts and 21. And he has plenty of swing and miss stuff, but could be tough for him with the bases juiced here. And Shane Prey, it's also a righty on lefty matchup. And the runners in scoring position in more and past. And yeah, the runners in scoring position. And Morin passed. Meeting with manager Paul Wolf as Shane Prey Moore was intentionally walked. Sent Schott, who was actually walked, to second base. And then Nick Pass taking a walk of his own to load up the bases. It's just been free 90s all around for these Tarp Skunks. The grand total is at 8 for the Tarp Skunks today. Some coming on hit batsmen, some coming on errors, and some coming on 5 guys on the day. Prey, the third baseman, comes up with the bags juiced. Ball gets away, runners go. It's 7-3. Another run in for the Americans on the wild pitch for ball 1. And a game won by Jamestown, now 7-3 in the favor of Niagara Falls. And the comeback after comeback, if they even give up the lead to begin with, which oftentimes they haven't. These Americans looking storm to their 5th win of the season. A big cut and miss by Prey to even up the count. With 2 runners still in scoring position and 2 down. Past and Gazaldo have a lead. Strike 1, or strike 2 rather, on the outside edge of the zone. Gazaldo on second, Past on third. These are the 2 base runners that were also driven in by the Ethan Madison home run in the 7th inning. As the count evens up on Shane Prey, that one a little further outside, at least by the judgment of our home plate umpire. Alan Ramos serving as the first base coach today. He started at third last game. Strike 3 called on Shane Prey will wrap up the inning, but the Americans score 2 more to make it 7-3. We'll be right back with the bottom of the 8th. See if Nolan Jackson will keep pitching.
No, I'm kind of thirsty.
Me too. We could really use something.
Yeah. Oh, thanks.
Yankee Doodle Dan.
That's better.
Back for the bottom of the 8th as Nolan Jackson keeps pitching. And fans, we want to thank you for tuning in to the broadcast today here on the Americans Baseball Network. But remember that an Americans game is a great way to bring your group together. Whether it's a school, church, business, or youth sports organization, the Americans are able to offer great options and even picnics for your organization. Jackson checks the runner at second. It's Borchert. Line drive down the first base line. Well, they're going to rule that fair after it was touched by the first baseman, Madison. And a run will score. Runners on second and third. We'll wait and see what they rule that, but the Tarp Skunks make this a 7-4 ball game in the 8th inning. They will call that a double by Costello. So Dom Costello will have his second hit of the day as Eric Weeks comes up to bat, but first a meeting on the mound between Jackson and his catcher Lucas Feldman. The 12th hit of the day for Jamestown, plates run number 4. We've got a game once again. And Eric Weeks represents the tying run. Now Paul Wolf coming in from the dugout. And Nolan Jackson's day will be done. Got them a good 2 outs, but also gave up a run. And we'll have a new pitcher for the Americans. Get you word on who that is in just a moment.